Okay, so there's a woman dying from cancer. There's a druggist has that can cure the cancer, but it costs 10 times more than it costs to make the drug. The husband of the woman can't come up with the money, either through asking his friends or trying to get the money together anyway. So he starts getting desperate and he breaks into the store to steal the drug. Once he steals it, he has it for his wife. Do you think that's okay, and why?
Well, in my humble opinion, I'd say that the husband made the right decision. I know nowadays it's very tough in this economy in this world to get medicine because of the costs, especially because of the unemployment rate. But I personally say that the husband made the right decision on the moral standard.
Okay.
Because if you're really trying to save your wife's life,
Yeah.
you do absolutely anything at all costs. So it's just the act of desperation more than anything. So I honestly think the husband, he did something bad, but at the same time, he did good in the moral standard of it.
Right. So legally he did something bad,
Legally, he did.
but morally he's in the right place.
Morally, he is in the right place.
So in this instance, would you say that life is more important than the law?
Most definitely. Nowadays, I'd say that for sure our life is more important than the law. And plus, on another note, the laws are supposed to work in favor of us, and it's not supposed to be the other way around. So if you were to ask me, of course, I put the life first more than anything else.
Okay. And lastly, could you state your name and age?
Yes, my name is Julio Murillo, and I'm 20 years old.
So, would you have done the same thing that Heinz did for his wife in stealing the drug? And
Well, without a heartbeat, I personally can relate to this because my girlfriend, sadly, her mom had passed away of cancer. And, I truly love her. And if she was ever susceptible to that illness, I would do absolutely anything for her. So if I was put in that situation, as I said in the beginning of my response, without a heartbeat, I would absolutely steal the medicine. I wouldn't really care what the consequences or repercussions were. I would just act upon it and just do it. And you know, it's really tough if you really look at it because you're stealing something and it's considered a very valuable possession. But at the same time, you got to realize that a life is more important than a materialistic object. And what that materialistic object is something that could save someone's life.
if you were the person that did all this research and figured out the cure to her sickness, um, what would you do if someone came up to you and basically asked for a lower price or for you to compromise with them somehow?
Well, without a shadow of a doubt, I have a lot of compassion and I care a lot for my fellow human beings,
Right.
In a sense, it's funny how many would disagree because it seems like we're all in the
Because you're
world
not
full of hatred.
because then you would have to do that for everyone else.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not gonna be biased towards any individual. If I give it on a lower price to
But
one
then
certain individual, then I'm gonna make sure I give it to all.
then
It's
you
so
then you
unfair.
wouldn't make a profit.
And I really wouldn't want to make a profit if it's something that can save their lives. If it's a product, why am I gonna have that to be negotiable to hold that against them if they can't afford it? If they could give me some type of money, then it's all right. I only need I only need my basic necessities, food, water. That's all I basically need. I don't really need anything else to keep me alive. So whatever I need to manage myself, that's all I would be satisfied with.
Do you think this is okay and why? Or why not?
Hmm.
It reminds me of the movie Breaking Bad,
Yeah.
where he's got, the sick wife,
Right.
and he ends up selling drugs
Mm-hmm.
in order to help save his wife,
Yeah.
etc. I don't know. Moral dilemmas are never just one-sided.
Right.
I see the good in him wanting to get what he needs for his wife,
Mm-hmm.
and the wrong of breaking in.
Right.
Like, where does it stop?
Right.
And that, like in that movie, where does it stop? And unfortunately, every, morality, according to Thomas Aquinas, you're only as good as your weakest virtue.
Right.
So if you do all these good things, but you have these one or two areas where you fudge, you make choices that are kind of wrong, but The problem is they build on each other. And that would be my one concern for this guy, that in doing this thing, which appears to be motivated by something positive, he might be taking himself down a road that's hard to ever recover from. Where does he get the second batch? Right. So my main question is, has he exhausted every other option,
Right.
Other than breaking in?
Yeah. So, do you think overall people should oblige by the law?
I didn't really say that. I understand why he didn't,
Right.
why he did a, quote, illegal act.
Right.
In order for what in his mind was a greater good, getting the medicine to help save his wife. So I'm not, I think you're...
So, do you think life is more important than the law?
In general, yeah.
Yeah.
In general, in the specifics, it gets really tricky of one's, but what is actually choosing life over the law?
Right.
In general, I think there are reasons to break the laws, to break the rules. I think sometimes a man in combat might need to choose his conscious choice above the order of a superior. On the other hand, armies can't work if everyone's out making their own choices. So it's a very complex thing that you're proposing here.
So you think there's exceptions to breaking the law?
I think, are there exceptions to breaking the law?
in
To
some-
abiding by the law? Are there exceptions to always abiding by the
Right.
law? I think there are.
Okay.
Is this one? It's tricky. I don't have enough information to really say whether he should break in.
Right.
The main question being, did he exhaust every other option?
Okay. Okay. And lastly, could you state your name and age?
I'm Brian Judd, and I was born in 2013. Look pretty good, huh?
Okay. Thank you.